that day Cairo calls Jonathan, and he promises to prevent through before he leaves Cairo. Reflect at the reality that proper love is quiet and calm. Some hours later, Jonathan arrives at Cairo's house. She comes out of the house dressed in a white dress. All Jonathan can do is stand there and watch her stroll towards him. Cairo stops and asks him to come back to her. However, Jonathan nevertheless stands still. Then Cairo makes the first flow, which leads to a kiss after returning domestic. He keeps receiving messages from Cairo. Beatrice is aggravated by using those messages, and this forces Jonathan to go to an area in which no person will bother him. There he starts off evolved to read Cairo's new book and imagines himself as the main man or woman within the ebook. A new day comes. Cairo notices Jonathan's extraordinary conduct and asks him what is incorrect. Jonathan replies that she needs to choose a brand new creator for the tale. She claims that he requested her to jot down a tale book about a topic. She is aware. Jonathan asks if it's Miles true that she is aware of the topic. Cairo replies that this ebook is set them. She looks on the confused instructor and tells him that this ebook is set two similar individuals who reject social constraints. Jonathan nonetheless thinks the ebook is just too grown-up. Cairo is certain he's scared and they are not strangers. Jonathan tries to explain that she is a student and he is his instructor. Cairo still needs popularity and says that her paintings is outstanding. However, Jonathan simply does not need to confess that she calls him a man barring ambition. He is probably much higher, but right now he is irresponsible. Before she leaves, the lady leaves her tale inside the container for the advert administration. Inside the nighttime, the buddies meet up and Winnie asks Cairo if she likes Jonathan. Cairo calls him horrific names. However, she nevertheless loves him. Presently, Beatrice learns about what his scholar wrote, but Jonathan does not admit that the story was once written about him, and Beatrice manages to convince him to inform her about the story. Cairo indicates that Winnie write to Boris and she, or he does, so Boris comes to visit Jonathan's own family, and Beatrice notices that he is corresponding with a person, but does now not inform everybody. Approximately at the verbal exchange movements to another stage, and Boris turns off his phone. Jonathan gets a name from the administration accusing him of beside the point behavior with Cairo. He is advised that if they can prove it, he'll lose his activity. Beatrice says that he will lose extra than simply his activity. She asks him to tell the truth, but Jonathan says that not anything passed off tomorrow. Cairo skips elegance, and Winnie seems very burdened. She attempts to make Jonathan look responsible. However, he seems as bloodless as can be. Later, Cairo is going to the main and describes their adventures with the teacher. Jonathan has to shield himself. He's fortunate that their tale's in shape. Whilst requested the very last question, Cairo says that she favored the whole thing that took place glaringly. Jonathan would not